Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Another day in paradise. Yes, another day in isolation. Hopefully you guys are staying safe, staying well, all that good stuff. Some of you that know me well will know that I'm still at my parents' address. That's because my other half is a nurse, so I've had to distance myself away from her, so I can't just start digging up the garden like some of my other mates, Brendan, Matt Jones, etc. So I've actually been asked by a parent, is there anything my kids can do at home, help them with skills on a bike? So today's video, we're on the hardtail and I'm literally going to go through basic skills you guys can do in a small area. Nothing mental, so if you're looking for a 60-foot jump, all this stuff, we're not doing any of that. We're staying at home, small contained space, and we're going to see what little subtle tricks we can do, I guess, and what we can learn to help us aid our bike skills when we go back out on the trails. Let's give it a go. So today's video, I'm actually going to do it on my DMR Trail Star. So the reason why I chose this bike, a lot of you have probably got a hardtail lying around the garage. They're generally a lot cheaper than what a full suspension bike is, and for all the skills that we are going to do today, you don't really require suspension. So, you know, try it on your BMX if you've got it, even your road bike, even skills that you can do in your front room, your living room, whatever. Just make sure you obviously get permission from your parents. So to start things off, what we're going to look at is a very basic trick, but actually out on the trails it's really going to help you, and that is basically something called the track stand. So the whole purpose of a track stand is we're going to stay still for as long as we possibly can. So the actual track stand itself is literally a case of just holding your balance on the bike. You can do this sitting down, standing up. If you find that too difficult, what you can actually do, you can start to think about a slow race almost. Riding as slow as you can, and you're all literally just thinking about balance. So as we're going around here, it's once again using your core, and it's really going to help you when you go out on the trails. You've nailed that. You're like, Ben, I've done the track stand, it's nice and easy. Well, moving on from the track stand, what you can actually do, if we've got the track stand itself, you know, we can start to think about maybe taking limbs off. So when we're in this, we can then start to think about taking our arms off, taking our legs off, all that good stuff. Once again, just anything to make it slightly harder for balance. I'm almost doing it sitting down, standing up. As you see there, I'm struggling sort of already. So we've ticked off the track stand, we've done that in our kitchen, our living room, our dining room, whatever. The next thing we're going to think about doing is maybe, if you saw my trials video the other week, it's very much a trial sort of video that I did on my cheap banger of an Onza bike. So maybe the next one you can think about, just moving the front wheel around. Once again, all about balance. And what you can do, if you get used to that, you know, moving it forwards and back, what I want you to think about now is maybe a 360. So what we're doing, just bouncing that around. Happy? So give that a go. You can do that, Ben, piece of cake. Right, next one. What I want you to think about doing, once again, another trial sort of move. All we're going to think about doing is not only the front, but the back as well. So I want you to think front, back. And then once again, if you can do that, maybe just think about 360. Happy with that? If you're happy with that, try back the other way. So once again, nice and simple. As you can see, I'm not really taking up too much space at all. If you're doing it inside, please watch the ornaments, watch the furniture. Next trick. So the next trick we're going to practice, out on the trails, there are actual times where you might want to get the back wheel up and over something, and so therefore we want to see how far we can go without going over the handlebars. So what we're going to be learning next is the Endows. The Endo is all about that control of brake and also control of weight management on the bike. So basically I'm weighting the back wheel without hopefully going over the front. So what we want to think about doing, coming in at a, you know, not a too fast pace, but just enough of a pace. Put the front brake on, and as we've put the front brake on, we're going to put our weight over the front. We almost want to feel that back wheel come up, and then as soon as we're at our highest point, we then want to think about getting back down nice and safely, all that good stuff. So let's give it a go. Lift and back. But if you can, literally try and get that saddle between your legs to get it as high as possible. But coming in, lift and back. If that's too hard and you're like, oh, I don't want to go over the handlebars just yet, then making it slightly simple, what we want to think about doing is put the brake on, and all we're aiming to do is just to unweight the back wheel. Not necessarily massive or anything like that, just enough where you can feel the unweight. Ride along, up and down, up, down. I'm all about finding that balance point. Once you've done it once, you'll sort of know how far to go, and it's just all about learning your bike, learning what we need to do to get ourselves out of trouble. If you find yourself going too high and think, oh my god, I'm going over the front, then I want you to do two things. Firstly, let go of the front brake, and hopefully that will mean the front wheel rolls away. Or always remember this saying, look to the sky, you never die. So as long as you look to the sky, you never die. Hopefully what that will enable you to do on the bike is basically thrust your hips forward, and then the bike should under-rotate underneath you. So give that a go. So we've done the small endo, we've done the big endo. What we're going to try and do now is the rollback. So this is where, once again, we're going to go into a normal endo, and as our back wheel comes back down, we're going to lean back and we're going to start pedaling backwards. Obviously we need to pedal backwards to allow the bike to roll backwards. So same again, up, pedal. Same again, up, pedal. Not taking too much space, give it a go, see how you get on. We've done the small endo, we've done the bigger endo, we've done the rollback endo. The next thing I want you guys to try is maybe the no-footed or one-footed. Off with, maybe start with 1 foot. And then once you've got that, the next one, and probably the hardest thing you can do, is the no-footed endo. As soon as I get to the top of my endo, I'm literally going to put my bum on the saddle, take my feet off, put them back on, and then hopefully get my feet back on in time before I hit the floor. Sticking with the endo theme, we've obviously done a number of different endos. We've done a small endo, a normal endo, you know, no-footed endo, a rollback endo, all that good stuff. When do we need to endo on the trails? Well, actually, if there's tight switchbacks or anything like that, you might find that it's easier, rather than just to ride it, you might find putting the front brake on to get around that section might be easier, just to unweight the back wheel, hop round. As soon as we start making and initiating that corner, we're then going to put our front brake on, and then as we're doing that, we're going to think about looking to where we want to be, so looking to our exit, and then with our shoulders, it's our shoulders that are going to turn the rear wheel underneath us. So maybe do an example coming back this way, and then you can see what my upper body's doing. So turn the bar, on weight, turn the bar, on weight. So hopefully there you can just see where I'm putting the front brake on and twisting with my upper body. That's what's allowing that rear wheel to spin. It's actually the same, but go the other way, where I'm going to put the front brake on, I'm going to unweight with my upper body. It doesn't really matter what way round you go, as long as you think about turning your shoulders and then unweighting in the correct time, correct place, and that will hopefully get your bike pretty much facing the other way. Bearing in mind that it's not normal that you need to turn it 180 degrees. Normally, it's a simple case of just literally turning it a few degrees to face where you want to go on the trail. So I think it's only right we touch on the manual very briefly. If you want to see the full manual video, click back in one of my videos and you can obviously see how to manual. The main thing we want to think about when we are manualing are two things really, and that is the push coming from our heel, and there is no pull from my arm. So it's all about that weight transfer, where I'm essentially driving the bike into the floor, so I'm compressing the bike, and then as soon as I push with my heels, that's what's going to enable that front wheel to lift. The biggest problem we have, as I've said before, is if you drop your toe, then naturally the weights come out of my feet and into the handlebars. Or for a lot of people, they get the front wheel there and it's like, oh God, I'm too far over the back. And that's where they start bringing their chin into the stem. And then before you know it, weight's over the front, and that's where it comes down. I want you to think about the start of a manual. So as we're going into it, start, down. So hopefully what you can do, you can just start to feel what muscles you need to get onto the manual. And again, push, relax. So you can sort of see there's no pull whatsoever with my arms. If I was to pull with my arms, it'd probably look something like that, which straight away I'm going to be out of control. If we're struggling to get the front wheel up, it's either you're not pushing hard enough with your heels, or we're not leaning off the back enough. So all the way through, I want you to think about straight arms, push through those heels, and literally look up. As soon as you start looking down, our head's obviously a heavy bit of kit, so as soon as you start looking down, then that's where the weight's going to be in the wrong place. So same again, push, heels. And as soon as you can do that, even if it means just holding it for that split second, when you go out on the trails, you will find it a lot easier because you're not having to think about pulling up over obstacles. You can think about pushing. And when we come onto a racing point of view, as long as we've pushed, we're always going to maintain that speed. If we start pulling, all we're doing is bringing that energy into us, and that's where we can be a bit all over the shop later on down the trail. So a manual is generally a skill that would require no pedaling. So that is, you're riding down the trail, you're having to lift it up over something, you're cruising down the road and you want to show off in front of all these chicks, you know, something like that. What we're going to look at now is the wheelie. Now, a lot of you will know your most dominant foot. It's generally the foot that rides in front of the other one when you're riding down a trail. If you don't, the easiest way to work out what your strongest foot is either what foot you kick with, or if you close your eyes and someone's behind you, they give you a push, whatever foot you start off with, that would be your most dominant foot. So, very important that you know this, because when it comes to the wheelie, we've obviously got a strong foot, or as Hans Ray used to call it, our chocolate foot, and our weaker foot. So what we want to think about doing, as I said before, a manual is something where we've got a bit of speed going down a hill. A wheelie is generally a quick short burst to get the front wheel up over a root, over a rock, something like that. So what I want you guys to think about doing is loading the bike on your weaker foot. So what I mean by that is, I want you to think about pushing into the suspension on your weaker foot. And then as soon as our stronger foot comes round, that's where we're going to put all that power through our pedal, and we're literally going to stay sat on the bike. Same again, just think about what you need to be doing as the manual. As soon as we're getting the front wheel up in the air, we're not thinking about bringing our chin to the stem or anything like that. You might find putting your saddle up might help somewhat, but as I said, we're in a very short sort of space here, so just get the principle of this and it will really help you for later on. Weaker foot, stronger foot. Weaker foot, stronger foot. So I'd say this is probably the hardest thing to do, and that is start the initiation of the wheelie. As soon as you get that front wheel up in the air, the biggest problem with a number of people is they get faster and faster. So think about the cadence going through your legs, and you just want to be nice and chilled. Push down, weak, strong. So hopefully that really helps you with your wheelie, guys. As I said, short space, small space. Give it on your longer roads, all the rest of it, and hopefully that works. But that is probably the #1 thing to get you doing a wheelie. There we go, a nice quick brief video for you guys to try at home. So as I said before, we've got a number of things you can try. So first one being is a track stand, and if you ask most top riders, you'll find that they do it not, you know, for fun and games almost. Well, they're thinking of doing is just staying stationary for as long as possible. How you can spice things up, you know, you and your mates can all be in a small area and you're all having to dodge each other. Next one, we can obviously think about the front wheel hops. Once you've done that, front and back, now try and get that 360 degrees. What do we do after that? Next one, manual. So once again, thinking of compressing with your heels, straight arms. So from here, all we'd think about doing is push. We do back hops on another day with the trials bike. Endows, self-explanatory. Push and weight. And then wheelie, we want to think about our weak foot, strong foot. So as we're pushing down with our weak foot, our weight transfers onto our strong foot and then hangs off the back. Hopefully, food for thought, something for you guys to be getting on with. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, you know the score by now. Give it a like. Be sick if you subscribe. And until next one, I'll see you in a bit. Oi, oi.